Yo, we're in it. Feedback Friday number. I've stopped counting. If you go back and count every track, you get nothing from me except words of appraisal. Alright, so if you're into that, go ahead, go through the playlist, go through everything and count. But let's freaking go. Feedback Friday is motherfucking live. Oh, language. No bad words, guys. There are youngins listening. Right? But yeah, let's freaking go. Yeah, so right away, just hopping into the feedback channel. Also, like, where was it? This new freaking lab group, wherever it was. Absolutely nutty. Somewhere. DMVU type beat. I'm not sure where to start. I'll just listen to this. I feel like you could use I forgot to mention this in the tutorial. You could use a bit of like sibilant EQ, scooping out some of the gross frequencies on that lead. Also, I feel like you have like too many different sustain basses doing different things, you know, when the bass drop. Also, I'll maybe like less mid, more treble on the snare. But the arrangement is banging, I'll tell you that much, right? Dogosaurus. Wait, I'll do this. And then I'll get right into the new submissions. Jeez, already stacking up. Perez type beat. This is beautiful. Perez type beat though. I'm hyped. Excellent airy atmospheres. I think a lot of time people can get too dense with their atmospheres, which makes it super airy. For the airy sound, a lot of highs and like mid-ish highs, very few mids and lows. Definitely has the cloudy vibe down. And the vibe is so heavy that I don't think we need a whole lot going on. And this build-up is subtle enough and gets the job done as well. Cool vocal. Damn. Love that use of autofilter. Lead kind of came in out of nowhere. I feel like that could have used a bit of teasing, or you could bring it in the second half of the drop. How am I today, Bunting? I'm well, thank you for asking. Yo, fellas. For sure, you can't rush perfection. Yeah, this is a huge vibe. Sub might be a bit too loud. It doesn't have to be made complete to be complete. We can always do some direction at any point. And great transition out. Getting right back into the vibes with a Reese bass. I'm really liking this track. I wanna pin this for something that I'm not gonna tell you. Okay, wait. This is immaculate. If anything, I think the sub is too loud. Also during this drop. Also, I would maybe I feel like the lead is much louder than the chords. Which is good because you want that sitting on top of the chords, but at the same time I really want those chords filling up and fluttering in my ear, you know. What is up, everyone in the chat? Glad to have you here. Arrangement is excellent and subtle. Subtle with the build up as well. I like this lead. Also the fills are nice. I think they could also be up more in my face. Just louder, more OTT stuff. Another thing is, I feel like texturally I would like the second drop to be a bit different, because even though it's different, it's still like lead chords, you know, maybe a bit of call and response action, maybe bring a bit more basses up front. Shit. I would just like some more contrast between the first and second drop, more change. Like, I really like your new lead melody, which kind of drives it, but I would just like even more switch up. Subtle transition out. You're banging. You're solid. Bring this down.
I've had so many rainbows in my clouds. I had a lot of clouds, but I have had so many rainbows.
Solid. And the outro gets the job done as well. I'll be right back for a sec. Okay. So anyway, back here with Shamer. You know, and this is DMVU type beat, so expect some much heavier vibes coming. But yeah, that's immaculate. See, look, with my little label, right? What I'm looking for, right? Which is why I pinned it. See, like, I really like the melodic vibes and subtle arrangement, and the theme is really good. I especially like the arrangement that's actually interesting to listen to. You know, not just like boring intro and like blatant build up, stuff like that. You know. But yeah, I really like this, and I think it might fit kind of like on the label thing I'm trying to start. Maybe a few things change, but if I'm really gonna nitpick, but yeah, I'll talk about that later because I don't have all the. I think you should at least have some type of bass here or some type of atmospheric pad. I dig what you did with the lead though. You really gotta fill things up. I'm not really sure if it benefits from this like plucky thing layered. It's
5 a.m. in the basement.
And the bass note is hitting not quite the same note as the melody. That's a fat wop though. Great push sounds. The sustained bass I would like more in my face. Also, I think the drum pattern's a bit too erratic.
It's 5 a.m.
Cool sample manipulation there. Crazy corpus basses. Really dig the sound design in some of these. I definitely think the biggest thing, I think it would slap harder if you had that bass hitting kind of the same key. You know, that it should be hitting around that note. And definitely fill up the intro a bit more. You know, you have great melodies, but I find a lot of times your stuff can be very sparse, you know? But really, just like, you just want to fill things up, make it sound full without much emptiness, you know? And if you want things more minimal and kind of empty, I would make the like drums reflect that. Cause like when you have full on drums, especially, it can like be clashing, you know, in not an excellent way. Thanks much for the feedback. I'm mostly cloudy, of course. Thank you for submitting, because that's a banger. Yeah, I really dig that. All right, wait a minute. I gotta freaking plug the homies, because why else would you guys submit if you're not being plugged, right? No, I'm kidding. Just get some pads, a little arpeggiator, a little bass, a little guy. You need a little guy in there running around. I know how you like having that in your music. Shamer. Okay, and up next we got Arcadian sound with bass line. Starting off with the banger sound effect. I like how you turned it into this rhythmic thing. This is really sick with this. I would expect maybe like some kind of bass, like maybe a sub riser coming in here. I don't know why, I feel like that's like a slap text to speech on the keyboard.
This should be fun.
Goddamn. That's stupid. Foolish. Not sure if I'm a huge fan of this flappy snare. Awesome variations on it. Especially with like that LFO. Maybe like to hear a bit of like melody on that layer. Maybe a bit of pitch bending on it as well. A bit of vibrato. Yeah, that like stutter LFO bass is really sick, and I'm gonna steal that from
you. This should be fun.
Okay. Yeah, and the way you build it up is super creative.
This should be fun.
I would maybe have it a bit more clear and a bit more energetic. You know, you have all the weird shit going on, but just like something really upfront, like a kick snare kind of build. Or like some really upfront riser too, to really get that tension here. Also, I think this vocal sample, you can maybe layer a deeper one with it, just duplicate it and like shift it down.
Fun.
Yeah. And it transitions out nicely with a bunch of cool sounds once again, because you're killing it. You're just killing it. Wait a minute, I just remembered something. No, this is an interesting transition. Sounds like it's almost being like mixed. That slaps. This section's fine. I mean, I think it slaps. I just feel like it needs one more thing, and I don't know what that thing is. I just feel like it needs one more thing. Maybe a bit clearer, like transition right before that weird sound. You know what I'm saying? There are some hats. I think the hats could be more up front and a little clicky, guys.
This is ridiculous.
I feel like It kind of ended soon, you know, because I felt like that was like some type of transition, which I think could have had more elements in it. Then like after the drop comes in, kind of ends pretty soon. I think the outro is creative though. Again, I think the snare is probably the weakest point, and the hats, I think they could be clickier, a bit more up front. But yeah, that's a freaking slapper. That's Arcadian Sound. If you fuck with him, give him a follow. Definitely gnarly right there. I think that might be my favorite from you yet. Keep in mind yet, because we're always making headier and heavier bangers. It's a simple fact of life. Okay. Okay. We're back with Sakura Spectra, right? And let's just go. Future Rhythm. He soiled it. Already vibing. Guess it gives me like old school, like liquid DMV vibes. Oh, that bass line. What up, DMV? I feel like it could have more mids, more melodic mids. Yeah, might be a little. I feel like it's bright, but with not much sense of clarity. Sub too loud. I think like everything besides the drums and sub could be louder. Also, you can use wider on a lot of your mids and highs. Get that filling up. Stop more. Loud variations, yeah. Fucks. I feel like you might benefit from like at least a little riser type thing there. Beautiful. Excellent, settled, calm response. Also the sub, the way the sub moves is really nice. I think the second half of the drop isn't as strong as the first. Nonetheless, I really dig it from start to finish. I think like some more like upfront elements besides the lead and the drop would be cool, because a lot of it can sound a wash. Yeah, and solid outro. A lot of it sounds kind of like washed out, maybe like too much reverb on some elements, and also like I think some elements just need to come up further, especially compared to the bass and drums with how loud they are. You know, just to get some more clarity. Wider can also help with that a bit. Yeah, that's all I can think of. I don't have a lot of specifics for getting stuff more upfront besides having it louder and watching like any releases or reverb you might have, which is obvious, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that's a banger. Definitely one of the better Future Rhythm. One of the best Future Rhythm tracks I've heard. And this feedback stream, I don't know. I guess overall I would say as well, because I don't hear a whole lot of Future Rhythm, right? But right, one note I have to say before I continue, because I remember because DM Tree is here. Okay, that didn't work. Okay. Can you send me the right link, DM Tree, for your little thing? Because the one you posted isn't working. For sure, try it out. I think that's the only real thing, like holding it back. The arrangement and sound design is super sick, right? But you know the vibes. But let's continue. With the next gentleman. Okay. Yeah. And probably my favorite from you, Rincho, as well. All the homies making bangers, improving at an exponential rate. Fist over the counter. Again with the solid cover. Let's just get right into it. Coming in super fat with the sub already. I think you can have at least one more thing happening in that intro to create more interest, to contrast your low face man beats. Hello everyone. Also, that little melodic element kind of dropped out suddenly. Methinks.
Stand up, people!
Solid. I think you could use a bit more tension with your arrangement right before this drop. This bass here could be a bit more saturated, maybe OTT. Get it really up front. Get some wider on it. I really like the work you have with the sub going on. And this flute on its own is sounding quite loud compared to the bass. The drums are slapping and the arrangement's slapping. That's definitely old school dubby vibes. Yeah, this is it. And I like how you have a kind of break here, but you keep up some of that energy and that crazy sub work. Having a lot of fun with that sub. Just what it's all about. At this point, I might expect a bit more to change, but it vibes hard enough that I'm not complaining. Again with with a bit more tension before the drop. I think you could use definitely more like push and pull in your structure, your arrangement on a large and small scale. Second drop. I think there's a bit of variation. Could use more though. Another thing though, like your sound design, I think it fucks, but I think you could fuck more. You know, I think you could use this whoa 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 sound, but something else might hit harder. I don't know what. Just really experiment with the sound design. Definitely keeps the sound, but maybe throw in another like response or a call type sound could really make me go stupid. The sub work though, simply immaculate. I think kick could be a bit thumpier and louder. Not hearing a whole ton of sub in it. Yeah. I mean, you're solid. You know, I think definitely push and pull in the arrangement and maybe some more kind of call and response action. Thrillers. This is an absolute thriller. That's what I called it. Glad you remembered because you're going to be quizzed at the end of the stream. But yeah, that's Feist music. And yeah, digging the deep dubstep flavor. Keep fucking with it and you're going to go real far. Right? The sub work is everything. Yeah. But anyway, that was Feist. Appreciate the submission as always. Fist heart to you as well. Alright. And give him a follow if you dig it. But anyway, question mark squid up next with the river wubs or gone fishing. I think I think you worked on this track. You elaborated on it. Huge vibe. Very quiet compared to the rest of the tracks. That much is certain, but I don't blame you. Turning my mic way down. Hello, okay. I love that patch. Super vibey. Immaculate. No problem. That one patch is everything. And your little melodic accents are also everything. Sub, probably a bit too loud. God damn. Also, sub is kind of sparse. You know, I feel like some parts would have a bit more sub. Yeah, super awesome progression there. Solid transition from the intro to whatever. Now you have a little break with a bit of build up. Trying to get intense with the build up. Build up came on a little fast. God damn. That flow. Damn, that whoa. That like screechy shit. Either you don't have sub on a lot of parts, or you're not using a dedicated sub, so your sub isn't the same level throughout. Like some parts I'm just touching a lot more sub. Like right here, very clearly. Or maybe it's just like the harmonic sub. You see what I mean? Definitely get that sub more consistent and you be super set. Also, that one bass sounded super this one was more like melodic-y, this is more heavy-y, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, if you're feeling crazy, do that, but yeah, as is, like, you're solid. I think the build-up came on a bit sudden. I would like maybe a bit of an intro that kind of more subtly became became heavier and build-up-y, and kind of maybe like change the tone within that arrangement instead of so suddenly in the drop. But as is, like, you're solid. You're definitely solid. And definitely get that sub consistent. Well, like, basically, like, if you really want your sub consistent, literally just look on the spectrum, Ableton spectrum, right? Spectrum, you could just drag it in, or whatever you have. You can get span as well. Span is free. But yeah, and you'd be able to see your sub. So either use a dedicated sub, right? This has no sub because it's not low enough, right? Either get a dedicated sub, which is basically just you cut the lows on everything and only put in sub following your notes, right? Just put in a sine wave, right? Or just make sure wherever your sub is hitting, it's hitting the same level, like whatever, like minus wherever this is, like 15 decibels. You understand? Yeah, definitely hashtag country, right? Type beat right here. But yeah, that's we'll really take to the next level. What is up? Sesh beats with the $sign in the middle. That's how you pronounce his name. I decided. Right, that's definitely a thriller. That's for sure. Also, Wider. Yeah, Dami Tsunami. Download the free plugin Wider. Yeah, honestly, not sure how big of a difference it makes on like big systems, but I know in headphones it definitely makes shit sound way more prominent and nice. But it sounds to mono great as well. But yeah, great @ Squid coming out of nowhere with 18 followers, slaying our lives, gang gang. Yeah, let's get the next homie, and by next homie I mean an absolute homie, an absolute G. Been here since approximately day one, and that's Wubbiverse with the Bentley Coupe Flip 140 BPM. Let's go. Yeah, Wider can make stuff phasey. I don't use it profusely all the time, as well, especially when you make it super wide. But some sounds sound phasier than others. It has like kind of a chorus effect. Like there's a lot of like these frequencies. Let me just show you. I feel like they're just like a build up in these like nasally frequencies. Like if I go back, you can absolutely hear it. And generally, I think a lot of your stuff is too washed out in the beginning. I would like something a bit more upfront, both in the mix and like reverb wise and arrangement wise. Goddamn. That one needs to be louder. This shit's ridiculous low. I don't want to seem like I'm just roasting the shit out of you because these are bangers. Yeah, mic is definitely low. To rephrase, I hope you heard some stuff. Thanks for telling me that. Your little definitely be louder. This goes. I was saying like stuff in the intro could be less washed out, and like I said, a ton of nasally frequencies for whatever reason, especially in that early section. Sound design and arrangement, that drop is crazy. Give maybe have some cute little fills here, just something to make it more interesting than just like trap beat with skanks. Snare a bit loud, rising stuff some awesome teaser. Crazy with absolute most gas rubber verse. Really dialing the calm response, and that teaser was crazy. Also, that bass in general is absolutely massive. Definitely get those wubs louder, you know, or maybe have some type of grittier layer in them as well to make them kind of match with the others a bit better. But yeah, this beat is absolutely foolish. Yeah, I really dig this one. Some erosion, yeah, that can make it sound a bit crispier and fuller if you want. I don't know though, because then it becomes an erosion bass, and I'm not sure that's what move is. Hot dog, that was crazy. Yeah. I mean, I said stuff is washed out here. It's not super washed out. I just think something could be a bit more interesting. And mix-wise, I still think it sounds quite nasal, with some elements sticking out on top of the others. The drop is immaculate though. If anything, I just think these kind of builds and breaks need some work, especially on the mix down and a bit on the arrangement. Stream beat. See, I'm curious because this is what I name a lot of projects. Was this a tweaked one of my projects? Anyway, that's Webverse. I always forget right at the end. Vocals are washed out. I mean, more than that, it just sounds like, I don't know. Also, I think maybe you should have some more like pad-like elements, because having that lead, it kind of sounds like it's missing a pad underneath it. Drums certainly loud though. But yeah, Webverse. Give him a follow for this banger and more, right? But up next, Nope. That's an interesting way to spell nope, but I'm here for it, and I respect that and admire the creativity. But let's get into it. Full melody. Too much mid and sub on this one sound here, especially when it gets to like certain frequencies. You can hear it just get super loud, and it sounds like you have another element going on that has some like mids and subs in it. You gotta pick one, or you gotta be very careful with how your arrangement. I really like that progression on top. I would like that to be a bit more up front. Definitely way more up front. And have all your sound effects be more in the background. Building some tension. I think your little thing could have did something. Could have had like a little break of silence, or like some type of more sparseness in the arrangement to build up that tension right before you drop it. Yeah, very nice sub. So like your sound effect kind of elements definitely need to be more in the background, and your elements that are very important to the progression and have more movement and more interest definitely should be more up front. Melodies, drums sound pretty good though. I just feel like levels are the big theme of this track. Definitely just dial in your levels. Be mindful of with where you're arranging stuff. Yes. A bit too much side chain. And bottom width to show. Again, I think a little break of silence here would make it really clear and concise. Like, all right, build up, wait, drop, you know, pre-drop type thing. I think you can have a bit more kind of call and response or like interaction between your elements, you know, because in a way it can sound like your bass is just doing its own thing with like the little melody having decoration on top. I would like them interacting a bit more. Could be cool, I think. In my opinion. Also, you have a lot of stuff going on. It's already hard to work stuff in with like a melody and like sound designed basses, right? But also like having all those glitch effects, you really need to be careful, especially with your levels, but also with the frequencies you're occupying. Both with like your EQs and how you arrange the sounds, but the frequencies you choose to implement. This is the part from the stream last week. Not sure. Also, that kind of came in from nowhere. I'd maybe like to hear a bit more of that coming up a bit sooner to really transition it out rather than sounding like, oh, it's over. No, there's a cool sound leading us out. You know, I like that cool sound to lead us out sooner before it kind of sparses out. Okay. But yeah, absolutely work on the levels. That's the biggest thing. And be very mindful of your arrangement just so elements can have that clarity, you know? Because clarity is everything. You want your listener, you want it to be super obvious to your listener what they have to pay attention to and when, right? Okay. Okay, look. Okay, so quick shout out, right, to the boy DM Tree, who's an excellent member of the community, right? Yeah, he has a mix. Huge jam. Feel free to give it a listen. You already know it's a banger, right? But on this website, which I'm gonna put in chat, basically this is a competition, right? A vote competition for playing at a set. Where is it? It's a contest to play for a show. Yeah, go vote. You got to put in your first name, your last name, your email, type the character, right? But yeah, this will basically get him booked because this is the competition. But yeah, if everyone votes for him, a homie from the community, right, will get booked and play a banger show. Are these the only guys? Or are these something else? But yeah, that North Coast Fest, okay? North Coast Fest. But yeah, definitely vote for him because with the flock, anything is possible. Vote every day until July 16th. So if you want to log on every day, set a little alarm or just like have a little bookmark so you remember. For sure do that because that would really help the boy out and get him booked. And you already know he's going to play out all the flock bangers, right? Because that's what he has to do, right? That's the rules. No, play what you want, but either way, he's a homie. Get him booked, give him a vote, of course. But anyway, back to business. Did I shout out? Yes. Follow Nope, Algren E, or whatever. If you fuck with the beat, I think it has huge potential. Those levels, though. Would love to play flock bangers. With the flock, anything is possible. This is simply a fact of life, I'd like to think. Go to feedback and continue with the jams. With jam all. Am I right? With the Perez type beat. Okay. Let's freaking go. New submitter. Happy to have you here. Kick sounds real freaking weird. Be real. It's too MIDI, not low enough. Your kick is by far the loudest element in the mix. You can just see it sticking out. Get your stuff sitting. If you made these sounds yourself, huge ups. If you're super new to this, so it's pretty new. Mix down is important. So your snare is super quiet. It needs to be way louder, especially for dubstep-y type stuff. Snare definitely needs to be like as loud as the kick or close, right? Also, all your basses can be way louder volume-wise. Literally just go in, tweak these. You can also go in like with a glue compressor. I just throw this in, crank that shit to make it louder. Yeah, levels are definitely the biggest thing for this. Arrangement actually pretty damn good, I would say. Get the job done. Of course, just elaborate on it. You know, have a break section, have another build, have another drop. You know the freaking deal, right? But yeah, the homie's pretty new to this, so be sure to give him all the love and affection and support he needs to grow. Compression doesn't make things louder. Well, that's because I'm not compressing it. I'm just turning up makeup, which makes it louder. My desktop stresses you out. Well, that's too bad. I do not conform. I live among filth. But anyway, follow Don Jamal. Give him the support. All the support. But for sure, level out that mix and it would sound 10 times better. And really, that's just a matter of trial and error. Another thing you could do, though, is you can look in Spectrum with all your different elements and make sure they're about flush across the board, approximately. That's the quickest way to put it. But yeah. Dude, I think Vital is every bit as capable as Serum. Absolutely, yeah. It's free. I mean, Vital is just missing like a few filters like combs and reverb. But beyond that, like most of the stuff you can do in Vital. In some ways, Vital is more capable. Also, I think Serum has more wavetable features though, which if you're really into making your own wavetables, yeah. I mean, at least that I know. I might be completely wrong because I haven't really messed with Vital's wavetable creation at all. But yeah. Let's freaking go. Anyway, Vampy Wikis. Play on Vampire Weekend, I'm guessing. Anyway, I follow every homie, of course, and you should too. Chuck Wood, I know your real name. Let's just freaking go. Huge dub vibes, great skank, great lead sound design, great dubby bass. Okay, that's good. line seemed kind of erratic to me. It's solid. I would have maybe liked the lead guitar to come in a bit smoother. Good build and intro. And maybe I would like to have the lead guitar build up a bit more tension. I felt like you just kind of like played your riffs and went out, when really you could have built a lot of tension just with the melody of that guitar, which could have added to your riser type thing and your build. Solid sound design. Yeah. Flow and sound design immaculate. I don't know, this just slaps. Not a lot to say about it. The snare. At this part, clap is definitely a little too quiet. I like how your melody changes for the second half. Again, I feel like the guitar came in a bit weird, and at this point, I feel like it's not as upfront as it could be. I think it was more upfront in the beginning part. Again, with the tension, you gotta at least like end on like the dominant, you know, when you're playing guitar, somewhere around there, or imply that, because I think that would really add a lot more tension. Actually, no, that was like an octave. But you know what I mean. I think you can build up more tension with that guitar riff for the build or lead. Absolutely solid. And the mix is super clean. I mean, you know what you're doing, man. I'll tell you that much. Only a few things left for polish. Random sound was kind of crazy. You gotta play the fifth, because that fifth would add that tension that would resolve very well to your bass drop. Maybe incorporate some call and response between the guitar and the bass if you're feeling crazy. All the sound design is crazy, the variation's good, and the mix down is fat. Like the bass is really up front in your face. You could add a bit of wider on them to make them wider, make them fill up that stereo spectrum. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the hat samples, and I think they could be a bit louder. But yeah, you executed the vibe quite well. At this point, I'm just nitpicking. Sub might be like, I don't know, a hair too loud. Probably not. It sounds probably just right to me. Clap stuff here is definitely too quiet. But yeah, that's about it. All I can really say. I really dig the vibes, the dubby vibes and arrangement. But yeah, that's all I can think to say. I'm not going to further summarize, because if you want to know, just scroll back a little in the stream. And you could rewatch the stream. Just have to say it because not everyone knows. Link is in the description for the stream playlist where you can see all the streams, right? But if you felt that, if you felt those dubby vibes, those reggae-y vibes or whatever, yeah, give Chuck Wood 431225697 sleeper cell, right? Whatever code, no. Give him a follow, okay? Because up next is Headcanon with the Bass Frog. Yeah, that's definitely a bass frog if I've ever seen one. So let's get right into it. Cool sample here. Fat kick. I feel like the snare could use a bit more like volume shaping. It's kind of just like psh, instead of like psh, you know, not quite dynamic. What's up? Also a bit more mids on that snare as well. The processing on that bass frog vocal is kind of ridiculous. The layering on it. I really dig the frog ribbit. Yeah, solid breaks, building back up with cool frog sounds. Tease your bass into nothing. I respect that completely. Yeah, do that second drop, you know the deal. I think it's an actual sample. Definitely get that sub on lock. I hear like a harmonic of the sub, but I don't hear the sub itself. Maybe you cut it out. I don't know. It needs that sub. There's all those little harmonics going crazy. Big frog vibes. This is definitely true. Yeah, I think this stuff is solid. One more thing. Another thing, I think maybe you could use lighter like kicks or lighter drums in this first part and different samples. You know, kind of fit the vibe better. Not to just lay it down so heavy. Make it contrast better. I really dig the sample in the beginning and super creative track with a solid theme. That sub though, that sub and snare, my main quips. If you want to worship the bass frog with Headcanon, give him a follow to join him. Right? Meat on bone. Bass Frog 2. I would love to hear Bass Frog Mark 3. Well, what does Mark even mean? Just version? Who knows? But up next is Boss Fight by Macrodose. You don't know what to name this. That's okay, because we'll help you. Right? Headcanon and I will help you. We're great at naming. Name specifically, because he named his track Bass Frog. I think that was very innovative. It's the Revenge, okay. So, like, the frog was defeated in the first one. Comes in a bit full. Too much reverb on these basses. Too many basses going with not enough mid. A lot of high-end stuff. Also, I think you could perhaps also dig in the optical illusion type thing from the dots here. Kind of cool. Perhaps process that vocal a bit more, maybe like OTT chorus. Also, low pass filters can really like help you work a lot of elements into your mix and make them all flow together nicely. Also, maybe layer your vocal with other stuff. I think you need a lot of meat. All your sound design is super high-endy, right? You definitely need either some mid layers or your sound design just to have more mids in them. Also, your arrangement, I think you need a lot more clear, like, and consistent, right? Consistent is the key, like call and response. You have like a lot of stuff like kind of interacting, but you want something to be kind of predictable. Right, and I think you could be a bit more creative with the call and response as well, you know, because a lot of the time, or just interesting with it. Like, I mean, creative, who knows? But basically, a lot of your bases, it's just like 4 bars or 8 bars, new sound, you know, which gets very predictable. You know, and you gotta switch the rhythm. You can have like wow 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 wow, or like wow 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 wow. You know, there's so many different ways you can do call and response. You know, and when they're just like sitting beside each other in like even bar sections for the most part, it's like they're not even really interacting. You know? I wouldn't process the mid so much. I mean, you could try that, but I would basically just have another layer. You know. Or just have different sound design. Your sound design is solid though. I think it really needs the mids. Also, I dig the logo and the art. That's for damn sure. I think the kick can be a bit louder with maybe a bit more like transient on it and maybe like saturation. I dig this melody. Also, kick might be a bit too quiet in this section. Like, I respect that you're trying to like make it a little more subdued for the build, but at the same time, also be careful on the side, right? Because I hear a lot of stuff on the side. Basically, like on your master or on your individual tracks, you really want to go in, not EQ3, EQ8, right? Mode, mid side, put it on the side and scoop some mids, like boost some highs. You know, because I hear a lot of stuff in stereo going on, which is great, but you got to be careful with stereo because mids already can make something sound super muddy. I mean, I'm like how I'm saying more mids, but now I'm like less mids. But in stereo, you don't want much mids at all because that can really mud things up. You know, but do that. I do that like on my master a lot of the times. And it sounds good to me, so... Also, this break, I think, is a little too long without much build. And you could have more of a build sooner, you know? Because, like, I see a lot of people, they have to have a build that starts super late, which is fine, you know? But I think, personally, like, having a build start sooner and or having some tension be introduced sooner makes more tension build up, because like if the build is so quick, there's not even much tension build up, which is the whole point of the build. Not about expectation. I'm sensing a bit more call and response action here. I definitely think that one screechy can be auto filtered in. Because as is, I feel like it's kind of coming in with kind of a harsh attack, you know, which doesn't sound very smooth. Also, definitely too much reverb on a lot of basses. And I think your levels need to be more even as well. The screechiness on the bass, screechy bass definitely much louder and clearer than the rest. Also, little breaks of silence. Like, boop, 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 boom. Instead of you know, that little bit of silence before like really laying down that kind of sustained bass on them would really add that impact with a mid layer, of course. Also, well, like having reverb on all the basses. One thing you definitely want to do with reverb, if you want a bit of reverb, for one, I would have less, you know, so just turn down the dry, wet, and decay time, right? But also on basses especially, I mean, this EQ will help you a lot with it, but you might want to turn on the low cut and have it just on the high end because it can sound super muddy. Meanwhile, something like this has much more clarity in it. And you'll be surprised the differences you can get just using this. Like, listen, it almost sounds metallic. See, just having fun with sound, I mean, reverb. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff on reverb. You don't need it, you leave it as default.
Don't worry, we'll meet again.
Almost just a reverb full wet with no decay, like as little as allowed. You can't hear Ableton? I thought I changed it. Okay, well I didn't. I really thought I did. But whatever, reverb. Yeah, you can get cool sounds from reverb if that's what you wanted to hear. Second build the same like the intro. And yeah, that might be better. I mean, I think you should start the build sooner, have more tension introduced, and definitely mid basses. Definitely careful with the reverb, and that's the biggest things, in my opinion, right? That's Microdose with the banger tune and banger logo. Give them a follow because the homies support the homies, right? When one homie wins, we all win. Right, whatever that means. Check the phase using span as well. Yeah. For sure, be careful about phase. I mean, I'm in headphones, so I can't hear much like stereo cancellation because your ears don't phase cancel. But in an open space, be careful. Be very careful. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, we're in here. Rough whip. Cool atmosphere, crazy sounds, subtle transitions. It's immaculate. Awesome journey already. And you drop it on them. Very lush mix. With a lot of clarity though. I would like to hear maybe one more kick in your little kick loop at some point at least. That cat, you know what I mean? And then it transitions very smoothly again. Sounds kind of sparse here. Also, that vocal sounds a bit mid-heavy. I think you could scoop mid to boost highs a bit for a bit more clarity. Just move up. Felt like I heard like 2 subs playing at once for a minute there. I would maybe like some type of mid bass coming through with a bit more presence and clarity leading through the well as some type of lead. Just anything to kind of like, there's a whole lot of lush atmospheres, which is, I mean, solid as is, but I think something like a bass or a lead to really lead the listener through and give them something to hold on to and follow could be nice. But that's very subjective, so. Also, kind of thins out very quickly, but I think you get away with it. And this outro way too long. It's basically silent at this point. I would just fade it out, you know, sooner. It's not a huge deal, but there's basically like silence at the end of the track, which is never good for streaming or DJs. Dirty up that low end. I don't know. I agree. Yeah, I mean, you're solid. Definitely at least try to have some type of lead or bass, like leading the journey. That's why it's called the lead. That's why it's called a lead. Yeah, only in the drop. Yeah, maybe a bit dirtier, low end. Who knows? Experiment, you have nothing to lose. Make a copy of your project. And yeah. But let's go. If SoundCloud won't let you post this, then make the sample of the original wetter. I mean, that's the easy solution, unless you really like it and don't want to mess with it. In that case, then good luck with trying to make it legitimize it. Loud piano.
One day you opened up your eyes, inside of you, inside a world, inside a universe. You didn't get to choose, you didn't get to pick the rules or pick the past or set the pace or cast the cast and crew. You didn't get to pick your starting place. Though it was a race you didn't understand, you simply lined up on the blocks, and when the pistol popped, you ran.
Maybe not have
And when you
sidechain.
tripped and dropped, you picked yourself
Maybe you don't have sidechain or only have it on the sub for this section. Also, drums a bit loud.
up off the ground and picked your scabs. You knew you had to pick a plan to end what you began. As you got older, there were days of cold surrender, days of shrugged whatever's folded in with days of shocking splendor. But as time advanced, the lovely days were covered up.
Also,
from
kick is
you,
quite
rain,
loud
rain,
compared to the rest of the
melancholy days
drums.
that hovered near the dew. Yet there were moments. There were these pure resting moments when you stepped outside your head, outside your pain, outside control, outside the bullshit, out of body, out of rage, outside the need to get it. Get it? You will never get it. That's okay.
Original song bangs, and I think your additions to it kick way too fat for sure. Yeah, better kick choice.
Have a little spot.
Maybe change up the kick.
Wanna ship it to the bottom.
Maybe have a
But
bit
it's
of
fucking
velocity on the
top.
kick to make it sound more acousticy, less just like bouncy EDM type stuff.
You will begin until the moment that you drop. You need a plot. What you wanna witness with this life you got? You kicked it flat, trying to get up in your skin and pick this lock. That's taking clock.
And I like some sections you kind of settle with your sense in the
Someone
background.
fit too quick, just
Not
issue
offending
back talk. Ever wanna be the crazy one? People walking to work as if nothing is off. But if a person really got it, they would be cracking a bottle. It's a buddy said and leaving from shops. Other times you're alone, no when nobody's home, but you walk around
Little
muttering under your breath. Second guess it, should say, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it, just whispering soft. Do you ever get lost deep in your thoughts? Triple when you think about the cost of seeing this through? When you tell your stomach in a knot that you don't know how to undo? But do you ever have another moment after that? Where you can see
Kick definitely sounds a bit blown out.
maybe that's just me.
Solid. This mid bass might be a bit too wide. I would like to hear a bit more mono. And maybe have a bit more basic shapiness as a layer. A bit more basic shapiness. I dig the timbre of it, but I think it could use a bit more that straight up fatness that a saw or square would have. Just straight up. a lot of stuff you do want full send velocity, you know, but you can get more of a human feel using different velocities. So that's that. Solid. You flipped it real well. You kept a lot of the integrity of the original song. I would definitely be careful with that kick though. Yeah, sub was excellent. Kick definitely too loud. Sample might be too present. But yeah, you kept the integrity of the original song, but added that heavy flavor, which is all it needed. Velocity. Velocity. This knob. If you have a kick sample, it would change how heavy it is played. Velocity is essentially like, I mean, just like the volume or how hard something's hit. It's a quick way to like edit volumes on some samples, but if you have like a piano, for example, right, or like a velocity sensitive instrument, then you'd hear much more of a difference. The OG tune, it says it. It says it. But look, here's this, right? You hear it sounds very different. Not just louder or quieter, but has a different tone as well. Yeah, that's that. OG tune is Watsky talking to myself. You know the deal. Literally a fill on a drop. I kind of want to. Okay, I won't skip ahead just because it's 12 seconds. I refuse. I was tempted. Yeah, double kicks. Cool trick. It's everything. It's more than a trick, and it's definitely something you should do. Another note, like I feel like kicks are probably the most important. I mean, the stuff people would probably use velocity on the most is probably hats, because you can really humanize them. You see, it makes it sound way more versus like slamming it versus, you know, on hats it can definitely make a huge difference for kind of humanizing. Just humanizing anything in general. I'm not about to make a whole loop and tweak it, but mess with velocities, especially for drums. Well, because on synths, a lot of time velocity does nothing. Depends on the instrument you're using. Groovy, baby, get the pocket. That's what it's all about. But yeah, excellent flip is enchant, or edit, whatever you desire to call it. Yeah, just scrolling around. But Tucky Baby. I think the intro came in a bit too quick. I would at least have like a bit more of a mix down section without lows, just so it's easy for the DJ, you know. Instead of just twice kick sounds kind of crunchy and clipped. A lot of like weird harp modulation, which is cool, but I would like something to be kind of consistent. The sound design in the background is kind of hitting a weird note there. Could job getting at the same key as the arp though. Mix certainly too crowded. Like it's very hard to pick out like anything. So for one, you have your like gritty like low bass, right? Which is like your sustain or sub bass, right? Then you have like a mid bass going on. Then you also have your saws going on. And you also have an arp going on. Especially like maybe on their own they would be good, but when you're trying to like change them around so much, it can just sound like, you know, just a lot of noise. You can't really pick out anything individually. You know, so really pick and choose what elements make a good down filter. Yeah. And another thing, I feel like if you take out your ARP, you know, a lot of times like taking out elements can make your drop hit harder, you know, so I think taking out your ARP can make it hit harder, but it can also leave more room. You know, I would just really go through each element and decide what really adds. Like, you'd be surprised if you just go back through and like turn off one thing and be like, oh, it sounds about the same, you know, because at a certain point, like, you might just be adding too much. Might be tunnel vision. Yeah, snare sounds too much like the kick. Yeah, that's a weird thing to say. That's dubstep snares for you, like the most mid-heavy. Definitely have some type of consistent melody besides the ARP switching up so much. You know, I think if you wanted to switch up that much, I would have it in the background as an element. You know, if you listen to a lot of the pros, you know, they have a lot of, well, for one, like if you want to take notes from the pros, like you're making things too complex in a way, you know, because your ARP is changing up a lot, you know, which a lot of people don't do. You know, they have something consistent and they stick with it because people need something to predict. Right, and also they don't have a ton of elements going on in the drop. Like at max, they might have 3, and you have more than 3, right? And also, most of the time when you have 3, they would only have 1 element playing at a time, 2 if you're lucky. And you gotta be very careful with how you mix them. You could definitely have some type of riser too. As well. Drop is definitely better. Because you have 2 elements, you know, and they're good. You can for sure add more than 3 elements, you know. In a drop though, I don't know. In like more like ambient full arrangements for sure, but have it in the background, you know. You want it only have 1 element up front most of the time, you know? You really got to choose which element you want up front, you know? Like, for example, here, like, you want your color bass type stuff, or, like, future rhythm type stuff, or your sustain bass up front. Because if they're both fighting for the front, you know, and they don't combine to form one big thing, you know, then it's just a mess. And at certain points, like, they go together as one, which makes it good, but at other points they don't. This also has to do with the... Maybe you can have, like, just the LFO on the, like, the saw or whatever, the chord follow on the bass as well. Maybe have like the old stuff filter out and to like leave room for the ARP as well, and maybe like a little transition sound to show like the drop is ending. Breakneck now, because I feel like the drop has done its part, you know, and it might be going on too long. I'm getting like break vibes like this. Another thing, you could just have your ARP higher up. It's very much in the mid frequencies, which is the same place about everything else is, right? So if you just put it up an octave, it'll sound a lot cleaner. And the other thing is like the drop keeps going on, right? Which is fine, right? But I feel like there's not much new being said musically. Yeah, that's because there's just less elements in the second half, you know, you have more clarity just through that. You know, definitely just be very deliberate with your arrangement choices, you know, like what elements really add to it and how you're going to fit them in. Like most of the time in dubstep, you only hear one sound playing at once. Or if there's multiple sounds, they're layered to make them be perceived as one sound, you know what I mean? But yeah, be careful. I dig this track, especially the second drop. That's for damn sure, right? But I think it could use a lot of cleaning up and deliberate arrangement choices, right, to get that mix sounding crisp. I feel like a lot of mixing, you know, like, I mean, especially for me, maybe it's just like a habit at this point. It's not mixing. It's more like just making smart choices with sound design and where you choose to put the sounds and arrange them, you know? A lot of times, like, I might add something that I think would sound good, but frequency wise it doesn't work out, so I end up just not using it or shifting it to another octave, or just, you know, not trying to work it in, trying to force it in through the mix, you know. But you know the deal. But give Tucky Baby a follow right now, because homies support homies. Alright, and up next, Tension 6.4 by BD Noises. It got me. It has me thinking of Bad Habit, like BD, HBT. They're pretty cool. I like them. Let's go. First track I've worked on this far. If any feedback with the sound thing. Already sounds pretty solid to me. Maybe around halfway. Yeah. Pretty much solid. Definitely make sure you cut the bracket small enough so you don't get a bunch of sounds at the end. You have new elements introducing at just the right times. Maybe scoop the mids a bit and boost the highs on this vocal. Kick is a bit thin. Maybe have a little pre-drop break. I like those. Okay. This slaps. The fills especially. I think your main bass could be a bit more saturated than you see, and widened as well. You say the sidechain is extreme, but I only think there's a bit too much. Oh yeah, for the drums to be so quiet. This is true. Yeah, drums could definitely be louder. That's probably the biggest thing I would say. The arrangement's super solid. I think you could have a bit of like echo, delay, reverb out into that break there, just to kind of wash things out more, have the transition smoother.
water retention.
Oh.
Nah, it's getting dark, I feel the tension. Hey, don't have me poo, don't even mention. Nah, that boy that fake water retention. Yeah, that boy no dangerous on
I
my
think this
session.
vocal with the arrangement creates quite a bit of tension, which is excellent. And the name of the song.
That boy that fake water retention.
I didn't even realize that till I said that.
Feel the tension. Nah, it's getting dark, I feel the.
It sound kind of muddy, especially in the headphones. It sounds like there might be some stereo sub as well. Be sure to put on your master channel, right? Put this, put a utility, click bass mono, and yeah, because your sub has to be mono or else it won't play out right on a bunch of fills are in fact sex. Your kick especially needs to be louder. Maybe a different sample as well. I'm not a huge fan of the Sarah sample either. Hats could be a bit more prominent. Barely hear them at all. This is kind of nutty for your first track you've worked on this far. I had to think about how to say it, how to read it. This bass fat. Arrangement, sound design, all is immaculate. Drums for show. There's very tiny hats. They were just playing. I feel like that bass sounds fatter than that one, and I think all the basses should sound that fat. If it were me speaking, if it were me. But yeah, insane track for your first finished track, and yeah, your arrangement's solid. I would maybe have a bit more echo on the end to make it somewhat easier to mix out. Just a bit more echo, reverb, washout type beat effect. And yeah, that's BD Noises, new submitter. Support the homie, because we support all around these parts. But anyways, I think I'm gonna just get to the rest of these, and I'm gonna call it off because it's gonna be about 2 hours by the time I'm finished, which I think is an ideal time to cease. So no more submissions for tonight, gentlemen. No more, right? And a quick shout out to myself because I thought about it, right? And you know, I can't stream without shouting out myself, right? Buntingmusic.com. If you want lessons from me, you can get private lessons. If you want to check out my music, right? If you want to know how you should make your music sound. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not freaking leaving. I'm not leaving, bro. Yeah, listen to my music. If you want to know how to make your track sound, make them sound like mine. No, I'm playing. But yeah, plenty of free packs with my favorite drums ever in there. I use my own drums because I like them, right? But yeah, check out my website. Everything supports me. And if not, just get free shit because free samples, who wouldn't want that? Right, and I have a Patreon as well. All that's in the description. Yeah, and then I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving yet. I'm getting through the rest of the tracks, then I'm leaving, okay? Let's make that clear. But up next, right, follow BD Noises. They do like my drums. They do like that. They know. They know what's good for them, right? But anyway, Philo with 140, Homegrown Master 1. Let's just freaking get right into this. Key for the lead and pad sounds kind of different. quite in the same key, or the chords aren't in weird cadence. Get that vocal a bit more prominent. Also, kick quite loud, very midi, not subby enough. Maybe like have the vocal creep up, but have it very loud and up front for this pre-drop. Okay, maybe have a bit of auto pan on this pad to add some variation, to make it hit harder. Keep it in the drop, but make it rhythmic and cool switch up. Maybe have hats a bit more front. You know, I hear a lot of dudes like having their hats. It might be a loop or something, but I hear them like very, very high up. It's almost like white noise. There's no real presence to them, you know. But at that point, like, I don't know what's the point of them. They're not really adding anything rhythmic. They're just filling up the mix in a way, right? I think snare definitely could slap harder. Maybe layer the clap with the snare. But I think a lot of times you want hats like actually percussive, you know, like. That's really where the groove comes through, you know. Otherwise, it's just noise, you know. It sounds like a lot of dudes just be like on their hats, like this, and they're like super low volume. Which is cool in some styles, but I think a lot of the time you want that hat groove, you know. Sound design here slaps. That noisy bass coming in most disrespectfully indeed. I feel like near the back end of that drop, it lost a lot of interest. Another thing, I don't know if your pad is interesting enough in general, or maybe I may make it rhythmic, but to like justify having it throughout the whole drop, and it can take away some of the impact from your basses. Also, sub is definitely too loud compared to all your mid basses. I think you could just use more variation, right? And more kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of sounded like a wash, you know, because both the pad and the sub, you know, they're kind of like just laying down a huge like, I don't know, atmosphere isn't quite the right word because it's not very dense, but like a lot of shit, right, which is kind of clashing with the rhythmicness and the flow of the original thing, right? Meanwhile, if you have your stuff kind of flow with your bass and utilize that silence, you know, you can really dial in that flow and make it more interesting, I think. You know, add some volume motivation to your sub. Add some finesse, add some sauce. I think there could be a bit more impact going out of that drop. Also, again with the drop vocal, I would have it creep up and be loud for this section here. Again with the pad, you've had it kind of going the whole time, which can make it sound kind of monotonous if you have one element just like droning throughout the whole track, you know. Same stuff kind of applies to this drop, you know. I think it had more variation with your sound design and arrangement as well. Yeah, you went flood, going crazy with these down-tempo beats. Like really, I think that whole like rhythmic flow thing, you know, like incorporating your sub and pad or maybe not pad into that would change everything. Like change the whole outlook of the track, make it hit much harder, make it much more interesting. Looking forward to hearing them. James Slotnick. Again, maybe a bit heavier impact going out of that drop as well. You can have kind of a sub drop as well to smooth it out. I'm just a huge stickler for smooth transitions. Gotta make it sound seamless. Could have it fade out a bit sooner here, but it's honestly fine. There's a tiny bit of silence at the end, which you obviously don't need, but yeah, that'll be fixed in the final. Sub definitely too loud since you're on the master stage. Sub way too loud compared to the mids. You can literally just go in like an absolute madman and just be like, yep. Like literally, like that could do it for you. You know, if you're gonna apply the band-aid fix to it. Alright. But yeah, with the fat and heavy and disrespectful 140, your boy Philo_K, right? Just Philo. That's what he goes by, right? Don't leave the K out. Alright. Alright, Unukoa looking dashing with his dog. His dog kind of showing him up though, kind of mogging him, as some say. Haven't seen this homie submit in a minute. I think this like the all that like plucky sine wavy stuff is a bit too loud and harsh. Hey yo, Luke Surak. A bit too loud compared to the rest, kind of grating. Goddamn. I've closed submissions for tonight, but otherwise you can resubmit stuff. I just like to get through everyone, and if I have energy, I get to it. But long story short, not tonight. Next week, submit that homie, submit that John, or whatever. I think your mid bass is fine. I think there's too much sub though. I don't even know. I think you could just have your other elements be a bit more flush with it, you know. I like the blown out sound, but I think you get that with leaving some room for the other elements. You know, because like it's not unusual to see such a bricked waveform like this, right? But part of the thing is typically you would see less contrast, you know, but you can see how big of a volume difference there is. A bit too much. This is a cool snare. Cool snare. Yeah, you can definitely hear how too loud the sub is at that part without the mid on a smart speaker. Mesh is retracted. Yeah. No, but the thing is, like, it's not that it should be weird for you. It's not that it's weird for you. I mean, I think being on a smart speaker almost helps in some ways. Because you gotta reference your mix on other devices and systems, you know? Because especially through, like, headphones or monitors, you can become pretty biased. You know, like, people crank the sub hella, and then you get in the car, all you can hear is the sub. Moldy. percussion, I would say. I think it gets the job done. Whatever these sounds are, they're pretty cool. This is extremely subjective, but I maybe like to hear some like volume automation, wubbery in your sub. Maybe some kind of pitch bends as well. I feel like maybe some fill type things in your arrangement could be cool as well. Well, yeah, like that. More stuff like that throughout. Could be very swaggy. Mishby. What about Mishby? Cool sample. I think these little signs are a bit too loud compared to the rest of that sample, though, especially in the beginning. Also, maybe like, you know, you have a lot of the same kind of sample loop type vibes for like your drop and your kind of intro and whatnot. I'd maybe like to hear more like interesting chopping, getting some weird, cool rhythms and chops in there with a bunch of cool fills. I think could, you know, make him sound real finessing. That's the word. Make him sound finessing. Kind of beat that'll finesse you. No respect. Right? But it's already pretty disrespectful. I just think something like that would make it incredibly more impolite. A thriller, if you will, right? But jargon aside, follow Unukoa. He hasn't submitted on here in a minute, but I still love him and I enjoy all tracks. All bangers. Lido, hi Bunting, oldie. Off the bed, it's 5 in the morning here. Off the bed, oh my gosh, what? You're up until 5? Who would do that? No sane person would stay up until 5 in the morning. I would definitely never do that. Not like I do that every day or whatever. Been busy making a lot of stuff. Can't wait to see said stuff. Sound design crazy. Comes in kind of heavy. I like how they took it up really fast into there. This part fucking goes crazy. Drum pattern. The clap is a bit too trebly or whatever. I think it's like slightly more mids within that sample or whatever. The man goes crazy with the sub and the grooves. That's for damn sure. Cutting off submissions for tonight. Catch it next week around the same time. I like to start around 10ish. 10, 11ish. I try. I feel like the kind of bass line is kind of hitting some weird notes though. I feel like you can hit like those weird notes, right? But I think you need a clear cadence, like if you can make out those notes, like kind of chromatic. You bassy. If you can make that out from the reverby, kind of screechy, obnoxious mess that just happened, right? Like maybe a little chromatic cadence at the end could make it a bit crisper of a riff. Sound isn't crazy. I felt like, honestly, the pluck hits harder, and I think the weird subby and kicks in the intro hit kind of even harder than that. Also, sounds kind of washed out in reverb. I kind of want like those mid basses a bit more up front. Just sounds kind of washed out to me. I want to know where you got that sample. Let me break this down for you. Gives me kind of cursor-y vibes. Nice breakdown while keeping the kind of beat. Those leads and this little bass here are immaculate. Yeah. Stay within the chord bass notes, add some passing notes. That's a good way to think about it, yeah. Because you can't really go wrong with that. I really dig this break here. See, I think some velocity tweaking on the hats would really do well here. I dig the rhythm, even though it's kind of like an off-kilter groove. That fill was weird though. I think that riff kind of needs to be dialed in, like the notes it's hitting. So it's kind of sounds a little too funky. This sustained bass, I think, could use kind of more like modulation, more kind of filter movement, maybe. Also, I think maybe more highs in general, less mids on both like micro and macro, you know, mix and master level. The leads are cool. I feel like they're just kind of coming from nowhere. Especially when they're like in with the like the drop beat. It's vibey though. I don't know if I like or dislike that about it, but I really like the overall melodics. Yeah, that's a solid track, I would say. Another thing is I would maybe have the second drop just be more different in arrangement from the first, you know. Like, you can get away with repeating the second drop, but I would at least change a bit more going on. Can't tell if it's gas or kind of trash, but I dig the vibe, so I'm going to finish it. Alright. Gas or trash. Only the flock can decide. Right? But I'll be right back for like 1 second. Alright? For like 1 second. I'm very quick and fast. I'm speedy. Back. Shout out everyone that stayed We're back in it. Faceman beats. A lot of time I prefer, and I mean, I don't know. I guess the formula is you don't have a bunch of sub bass in the beginning because it makes it harder for the DJ to mix, you know? Whoever's, yeah, thanks. You know what I mean? Just like, and also you can say that kind of sub bass impact after you build a bit more expectation. I think the weirdness in the sound design though, I know that much. Mid bass is louder. Allsbrook as they point. This is definitely gas. I think just louder mids will do a lot for you. Maybe less on the sub bass too. I know you hate when I say that. It's your least favorite thing I say, I'm certain. That part especially, like what the fuck is that? Kinda insane. Maybe a bit of like reverb modulation too. You know? That's how I illustrate it. And maybe a bit more saturation on the bass too to really give it that like kind of screechiness on that modulation. I already did the modulation, but I think like some saturation. Maybe OTT, maybe not OTT. Make it really be disrespectful. I feel like drawing out the synth in a way for the drop could make it hit harder instead of having the reverb. I think you can maybe have a layer. Either you can have a bass kind of doing its own thing, like swelling up, like growling with that saturated distortion, kind of like you had here, except more. You can have it following or doing its own thing. Groove is immaculate. I feel like for this kind of like halftimey groove, I feel like maybe a lighter snare, slightly lighter, maybe just the same snare with like a little less tail on it would be good. A little tappier could get slappier. A little tappier makes it slappier. Write that down. Yeah. After it's solid and weird and beautiful. Also, like your mid bass here is definitely louder than the one in the drop, which is a big no-no for impact. Thank you for submitting yet another absolute heater. Also, maybe make it a bit clearer in the arrangement with a bit of silence. Right? That there's some like weird transition shit about to go down with that one little weird bass funky thing right there. But that's Faceman B eats with the way the chat cut it off. Will my nose stop itching? I have no idea. They're getting to me. The bugs, right? But yeah. Faceman Beats, thanks for submitting. Give the man a follow, because the man is a homie. And as we know, say it with me, class, homies support homies. Alright, hope you all said that with me. Ross Band. Dami Tsunami, Psy House. Funky sound design right from the start. With some sub. Again, careful with the sub, because that makes it harder for people to mix. And takes away some of the impact as well. I'm about to just make like a document that has like every little piece of feedback that I give so often, like all the time. You know, it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And I just like put like 1 sub in the beginning, 6 transition needs more impacts and shit, 3 whatever, too many mids, not enough highs. Yeah, also obviously massive tail of silence. It's not quite silent, there's a little thing, because you could see it. You can see the little bump, he's so cute. Ooh. I love the way that transitioned in. Very sudden, but smooth. I feel like you can maybe have maybe a bit of that like boom, like the 2 and 4 kind of accent in the build. This fucks absolutely though. Awesome variation with the sound design, the flows. You can send them in the Discord, which the link is in the description. But for tonight, I'm not accepting any more submissions. Already pretty stacked. Great break and build here. Solid bass. Yeah, this track absolutely fucks. Sound design is solid. Everything sounds super clear. I love it. Link's attack sounds from Ocarina of Time. I hear it. Yeah, a little bar silence or pre-drop. I say that a lot of the time, but I feel like in this track, that non-pre-drop is sounding good. You know, a lot of time I think it sounds quite bad because it makes the build up and drop kind of blurry. You could definitely cut it out sooner, like here even. Because like by the time it gets to the or maybe you have it echo out a bit, because I think that could make for some kind of interesting like layered transitions. But yeah, certainly, yeah, take care of this. Make sure the brackets are the right part. I mean, this is fine as an outro, kind of a cool creative layer for mixing. 2 minutes, like you don't need a track to be that long. 2 minutes 30 seconds is fine. You know, 2-minute track, you're good. If you want, you could add a longer, like melodic-y kind of cool break, which could be cool. And melodic-y, yeah. It's worth a try. I'm getting some rap vibes from this. Banging cover art, that's for sure. But yeah, follow Dami Tsunami, okay? Before I move on. /T, non-existent song. There it is. Give the man a follow. That's cool. That looks cool. Okay, Boketo to the 21st power. Right, give him a follow. Because I follow every homie that submits. It's what I do. Don't know a lot of house labels. Me neither, honestly. Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I don't follow much house. Okay, this absolutely fucks. For one, super clear in here. Great keys and a little malice in the background. I think maybe the mid vocal where he's kind of just like singing it, that should be definitely the loudest. And the top one should be more in the background, but that's super subjective.
Something like the eye of a hurricane came through when you was most needed. If you leave, then my heart start bleeding. I was on drugs when you came, now it's like withdrawal when you're leaving. Flock to your garden when you look like Eden. Please, hope we never fall like changing leaves. If I gotta fall, hope you don't switch teams. Man, I need your love like a drug need fiends.
Like
might have got it backwards. Used to think I had all of the answers. Now it's nothing but addiction to dances. Hope it don't stick, no cancer. Damn, guessing that nothing go according to plan. Took 2 Xans for the flight to Japan. 1-2 step, cause I don't really dance, but I take that leap if you gave me the chance.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Right now he's I jump because stay there. LeBron and Cavs greatest.
I love when people incorporate genuinely skilled and interesting production
I'm
into
sedated. On La Bay,
popular
I'm
or
gated.
mainstream
On
stuff.
La Bay, I'm the greatest. For you, I'm tuned in all day.
Chuck is
Some of
good.
the ocean gets taller. I'm getting taller. All gets up, but I'ma always call you. All good apartment, all good appointment. Finding her an appointment. Orchestrated. I'm under the orchestrated. Baby boo, but I'm jaded. Find a ton to tie you in siren, babe. I'm starting to feel like a siren, babe. But you telling me I can't, so I guess I can't relate.
I think the snare could be a bit louder. Just a bit.
Without you, I'm not motivated. Him alone with no hesitation. Right now he's elevated. I jump because stay there. LeBron and Cavs greatest. I guess I won't braid it. I guess I was the bravest. Man, I love your stories. Without you, I'm not motivated. Him alone with no hesitation. Right now he's elevated. I jump because
I dig like the kind of weirdness in the processing for like this chorus part or whatever, but I think at least one part of the melody or part of the lyrics itself needs to stand out. So you can really pick it out.
I guess I won't braid it. I guess I was the bravest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I dig the fade out as well. Yeah, that's a banger. Banger, only 200 followers, you for sure on the come up. If you making some crazy ass produced shit like that, but with a little mainstream twist. Not that mainstream is a bad thing, but you know what I mean. Give the Bochetto to the 21st Power a follow if you fuck with it. Because I certainly do. Follow my example and follow him. Or band. It's that simple. Or band. Alright. DEFCON Sound. Another new submitter. Alright, here's my first critique. You gotta work on the resolution on this. Get a high resolution photo. No. In real though. In real. Cool sounds here with the delay. Cool little transition. I'm not sure how big of a fan I am of this kick. I would have maybe liked that kind of chord thing to go down an octave, you know, for that drop, just to add the impact or whatever. know that sample. I don't know what it's from, but I dig this. It gets like a kind of old school flavor. Appreciate you for the banger submissions. Bass music is cool, but sometimes it's refreshing to hear actual human music. Also, like what the actual fuck just went down. No respect, sir. I don't know why the chat isn't going absolutely stupid right now. Because this shit is fucking dumb. Like, I don't know. It just fucks so hard. Like the whole flow, that little reverb on it, the sound design. Like, what even happened there? I think this build-up could have maybe at least a little riser. Just something a little more, like one more element to kind of build that tension. Also, the way you fucking brought it in. Stupid. Insane. I'm gonna definitely keep an eye on you. Absolute anthem. You gotta take this off private. Release it on label. This shit's stupid. Alright, first Flock label release right here. Yeah, it just fucked. I would maybe like to hear like another like heavier drop, like I heard here, you know, rather than just kind of vibe. I mean, this is the vibe, but I don't know. I want another drop. That's what I want, right? And of course, you don't need all the silence. The hat is clashing with the clap. I don't really think so. I mean, to me, it's clear like, what you're doing with it. I don't know. You're freaking solid. This is a banger. Your taste is immaculate. You know what's up. Yeah, I mean, that's Defcon sound. The man spoke for himself. I don't have a whole lot to say. The kick sounded better in context than alone in the beginning. If you need fat kicks, buntingmusic.com. You know the deal, right? But, yeah, let's just wrap this up. Up next, Blackluster with the professional ass graphic design. Let's freaking go. Death is a privilege for those who embrace it. So edgy. Waveform looking a little bricked, but I think you have a bunch of races in here, so I respect it. Yeah, this is a vibe. Good Reese, good vocal. Introduce stuff at the right time. I think a lot of your stuff, it sounds almost too mainstream for me. I mean, like, it sounds great, obviously, but you know, a little too formulaic. I think that's a compliment or anything. The song sounds like Splice.
Tell this to all the world.
Dumb. Oh shit. Yeah, I mean, the fuck. What you say? You know what you're doing. Sound design, arrangement, tasteful. You know the vibe. Maybe like a bit heavier impact out of that drop. Another thing, I feel like I would like to hear a bit more kicks in this build up, you know, rather than just more and more highs building up as well. Yeah, bring back the vibes. Only 8 homies. The homies are sparsing out. They were tired of me eating chips while giving feedback. Appreciate all of you for sticking around to the very bitter end. Also, I'll maybe have a little something different in the second build up. Because, you know, there's something a little the same, a little different from your original intro. I mean, I would just switch it up, you know? Like, you can, like, change up the harmony. Change up, like, the chord progression. You didn't notice the chips. Okay, so it wasn't the chips. Alright, noted. So I would probably change up the progression a bit. I mean, just have a different arrangement. You know, think about it like, I don't know, classical or whatever, or any melodic piece. Think of it like you have a verse, a chorus, and a bridge. Make it more like a bridge rather than a repetition of like the verse or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to give exact pointers, but basically just make something slightly similar with similar vibe, but definitely switch up the arrangement. You know, definitely switch up the melodies. Another thing I do, which is easy, is just, you know, have some type of solo. You know, have some type of lead doing a cool solo, because, I don't know, that sounds cool. You gotta be tasteful with it, because you can go guitar beat,
Tell this to all the world.
This sounds very familiar. Where have I heard this before? Yeah, B sections. Andrew Huang would probably be a good resource because he doesn't make bass music. You know, and sometimes you need a little not bass music in your bass music to make it really hit. Andrew Huang actually has done a bit of dubsteppy stuff, which is funny. But that sounds very familiar. Might have accidentally inspired a bit too much from another artist. It sounds super familiar.
Tell this to all the world. Tell this to all the world.
Another thing I could do, I think you could do something with your arrangement to make it more than just like little fill with like heavy sub and then like wow quarter notes, you know, or eighth notes or whatever. You know, I would just like to be a bit more finesse in the arrangement, you know. I really dig like the call and response shit you got going on here. I don't know, it's hard to really give a whole lot of constructive criticism, you know, because you hit every mark technically. I would just like things to be a bit more varied with the breakdown, which I unfortunately don't have much advice on. And then with your drop arrangement, like of course it slaps, right? But I feel like it's just a formula that's been played a lot, you know, and I am one to despise formulas. If anything, I think you could make your sub have more interesting movement, you know, like bant, 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 instead of just the whole sustain. I don't know. Also, I think maybe your sub can be quieter in comparison to your mids and highs. Also make your little sounds wider as well. Make them wider, your little sounds. Your mids and highs wider. But I mean, as for a way to think about the kind of intros, I would say basically make another intro, you know, very similar to this one except not the same, you know, and that would honestly get away with having an interesting break, you know. You pretty much have it the same key, a lot of the same elements, you know, and just work from there. You know, a lot of times just let it come to you. A lot of times taking inspiration from non-bass music can definitely give you ideas for making non-bassy stuff interesting. Anyway, yeah, that's Blackluster. The man's heading for headlines with the whole aesthetic. He's got the polished sound for sure. Blackluster, rough. Black lusty rough. See, I think it's very funny. Black lusty rough. All right. Hope you guys laughed as hard as I did. Aha. Shit. My beautiful face taking up the whole screen. Sorry guys, that's for another stream. You get to stare at me the whole time. I'm in the corner here if you ever want to look at me though, so. I think this wow, like the wow sound design could be a bit more interesting, you know. I mean, more FM, no, more of like a distinct harmonic, you know, that's being played out, and also this like this I think it could either be kind of like FM'd to kind of have that tone, or it can have a fatter layer underneath it, like a kind of more mid bass. And maybe a bit more filtering, so it's wow type thing. A bit of auto filtering or like low pass, like wow, like here. Like just auto filtering to give it more of that movement. Yeah. That's solid though. Definitely got a bit of the bro steppy vibes for sure. Alright, so I'm wondering like who's gonna take the bro step formula but just make it like absolutely fresh and a heater, right? Who's gonna do that? I should try that. That could be cute, I think. Anyway, white noise, fresh submitter, hashtag dubstep, let's go. Back. Impact at the beginning. Solid. Gets the job done. kind of minimal, but I dig it just because the intensity of that bass and the sub. I think the sub is too loud.
Get ready.
I think you could have used a kick. Use a kick, but you know. Alright. I'm kind of digging the no kicks.
The battle begins.
Sound design goes crazy. The riff and variation also goes foolish. Overall super polished track. Quick break right into the business, building up more tension for yet another bang and drop. Getting like kind of taboo vibes. Nail it though. Solid sound design, huge riff. Should be in a museum for use of colorless ones. The sheer intensity of this one is excellent. I'll maybe at least have some kicks in here that could help make it sound fuller and also build up even more tension. Already your build up is super solid, ton of tension and expectation build. I think the snare could use a bit more mid though. And maybe a bit more in the face, like kind of transient shaping. Also, I really dig the cover art.
You them.
Yeah, I mean, you're solid. I think the kick could maybe have a hair more side chain. If it has any. It's kind of hard to tell. Which could be a good thing. And solid transition out for the outro. Mate, it's why do you gotta put it like a dick though? I see what you did. You thought you were slick. It's a dick and balls, guys. Look. Dick and the balls. Don't tell White Noise I said that. I didn't have a whole lot of feedback because your track honestly sounds super solid and you have a lot of stereo on your basses, which is also great. Alright. No, I mean, solid track, really. It sounds hella professional. It's not often that a dude comes through with a hella polished professional sound. But when they do, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Yeah, give White Noise a follow. White Noise Bass a follow, right? Because that's a banger. Like a box checklist. Yeah. I genuinely might. I gotta have like a rating scale. I'm gonna do that. Because I have so much shit. Make a... Repeating breaks and builds. Yeah, I'm gonna honestly do that. That could be cool. Crap to slap. That could be a good one. Anyway, Von Dam with the final track of the night with Lost Worlds. I dig this cover. It's vibey. Deep dream type beat. Because that's funny. You're right. This song is tremendous. No, this song is Lost Worlds. You dumb guy. Johnny J. Wortman, what do you know? Alright. I'm gonna stop you right there because that's not in the same key as your piano. I was digging the atmosphere and chords you were laying down and all that. For one, this vocal is kind of more in minor, while the key you're playing everything else in is more in major. You can just tune specific parts of the vocal by going into a little sample, right? Pretend this is a vocal as I freeze it. You could just go into each little thing and cut it out, paste it, and then transpose it so it's in key. You know, yeah. Besides that, the arrangement's solid, and it's really filling up nicely. Tension for the K times. I think you could have a little kick there to add to that impact. Great tension. Could use a bit of kicks in this build as well. I think the bass and chords could kind of be closer in level, and maybe like the bass a bit sparser on the sound design, so they sound as like one unit, which would really make them hit fat. Also, Defcon sound. I think you're way behind in the stream. You're not in the live broadcast. Which is fine, well, I'm gonna just say it in chat. Defcon, I think you're behind in the stream. Hit live if you wanna tune in live. Not sure, but you know. I like that little like glassy harp. And you see like these basses, the response basses are both louder and wider than your like saw hit. So I would just get it louder, more OTT, of course, more width. You know. not a good snare for drum and bass. Dubstep snares are not good in drum and bass because dubstep snares, you really got to hit the boo, you know, really loud. My shitty beatbox snare. Yeah, the build up should be bigger, and I think the tone should you should indicate like the tone change better, you know, in the build up and that transition, I would think. But you really want a light, you know, really light, airy snare for like the drum and bass style stuff, you know. Otherwise, the 2 and 4s emphasize too much and it messes with the groove. Also, not sure if I'm a fan of the kick. Also, I think you're just like bottom bass layer is too beefy, you know. It's almost too big. Well, for too loud, and I think too sound design. I don't think you want a whole lot of sound design if you're going to be layering it with a saw, right? Which can make them sound separate while you want it to sound as one big unit. Cool amen break. A lot of sustained stuff. I think you could use filtering. Filtering is just my go-to for like adding movement and interest. Stuff that's otherwise pretty static. Dig this sampler or whatever you have going. I would have liked it to maybe end on the Bunting instead of resolving, because that would have made it a tense and cool ending compared to just resolving it. But yeah, that's Van Damme theming it out for us. Okay, let's not play that. But yeah, that's that. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This concludes Feedback Friday. Tune in next week. Tune in Monday. Actually, tune in Sunday, at least in the Discord, because I'm going to start kicking off like the vote for our new little events, the Flock Flip, which is going to be crazy and foolish, right? So yeah, be there in the Discord, participate, getting some events going. So stay tuned, fellas. And yeah, thanks everyone for submitting banger tracks. As always, you know the deal. And yeah, that's that. BuntingMusic.com. Be sure to visit. Be sure to hang out. That's all I can think to say. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Love you, fellas. You make it all possible. Stay woke, stay creative. Peace.